And at times in that second half, down 11 at one point.
Yeah, it was dicey again. Not our best performance, but you gotta give Easter Midnight credit. They really defended us well. It took us a while to get going. They hit some threes like they always do. I think ultimately we just kind of grinded and hung in there long enough to give ourselves a chance, and we finally got clicking where we started to finish some shots at the rim, which we were having a lot of trouble with. Most of the game, and I think once we started to do that, it let us set our defense up because they're just so deadly in transition, and I think that played a big difference. Although we didn't have very good transition in the last couple of minutes there, but it's February college basketball. You have to just find a way, and I thought we did that.
Very judicious with the threes tonight, I thought.
Yeah, I think just the way they were guarding us. We wanted to kind of work and get the best shot we could, and I thought, we were. They're big and long, and they cover, they get out to you. And, I'm glad we didn't force a whole lot, and then we kind of got going a little bit in the second half. TJ hit a huge one out of the timeout, and Mitri hit a couple big ones as well, the 4-point play. We got out going and running a little bit. So, I thought we did enough, and, we had a much stronger second half, so hopefully we can kind of build on that for Saturday.
What did Dimitri do differently, or what were you able to do differently to create some space for him? Early on, it looked like Malik Jones was just all over him, and there really wasn't room for him to take a shot.
Yeah, exactly. We're, again, a little disjointed. He got in foul trouble early, so that played a role. But then we kind of wanted to open up a little bit and set a lot of spread ball screens and try to attack their big. And he was able to do that and have a lot of success doing it. So I think we did a better job of spacing the floor and giving him some space to operate. And he's just a really special player. So he was able to do some good things with it tonight.
Both teams really kind of drove right at one another at times in this ball game. And as you said, finishing at the rack was not easy early on, and then somehow later in the ball game, and of course a lot of that had to do with Dimitri taking a lot of those shots.
Yep. Yeah, they're big and long, and we did, I think, a fairly good job. We had some breakdowns where we gave them layups. We kind of battled. We dug in. It was a very physical game, I think, on both sides. And, we hold, they're very talented. They got 3 seniors, 2 juniors. They're very talented. And to hold them to 36% and 26% from 3, that's a good day. And so I thought we were gritty enough to find a way to get some stops, and a great defensive play at the end by Chandler and Kenny to keep the ball in front of them and not give them that shot off the flare screen.
Yeah, it looked like early on when they were having some success, there were some threes that were left open when you were trying to double down and make sure that they didn't score in the post, and it was creating some opportunities on the outside for them.
Yeah, we were a little slow in rotation, but Thomas is just a load, and we wanted to kind of, and their other bigs too are good, so we wanted to kind of kick them out of the game a little bit. And we were a little slow to rotate, but, we were able, I think, keep them out of the paint from scoring a lot in the paint. And again,
well, not traditional post points.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And just some drives, and we were late, or offensive rebound putbacks and things like that. So, we battled again, far from perfect, but February ODAC conference basketball. You just got to find a way, and to our guys' credit, they hung in there and they found a way tonight.
It was interesting. I was saying as I was looking at some of the offensive rebound numbers at one point in the ball game, and I said this has kind of been the difference. So I think at that point it was 13 offensive boards for them, and I want to say 7 for you guys. And I'm thinking, that's kind of been the difference here. They've had some second chance, and then late in the game, with the game really on the line, you guys did a much better job of crashing and securing the rebound. It's one thing to crash the boards, another thing to actually come away with the ball.
Yeah, Davrion had a couple huge ones. Ken had a big putback. So I think those two guys, and we went a little smaller late in the game, and those two guys really gave us some really much-needed extra possessions and some baskets. And, I think, like you said, that was ultimately the difference.
First game, this game, again, so very close. I mean, is that indicative to how, these two teams are pretty evenly matched?
Yeah, I think, it wasn't the prettiest offensive performance, but I think you had two teams playing really hard tonight. And like I said, they have a lot of experience, and they have some talent, and they're certainly not a team I would want to play in the ODAC tournament for sure, because, it's a very wide open conference, and they are certainly as much a chance of anyone to make a run here down the stretch. So, I'm glad that we're able to compete and, be a talented team like that. Says it's a really good win for our guys.
But, and I mean, defensively, you got to be fairly proud just because with a team like this, and I mean, I know they took 27 threes, but they can do it inside and out. And I
Yeah.
mean, the assignments that you have and the switches that have to be on. I mean, it's got to be a lot.
It is. They put a lot of pressure on you in their transition. They put a lot of pressure on you with their shooters and their big guys. They are the, they know that there's not one thing that they don't do well. You can kind of let them shoot or take. And so they have some Harris win 4 for 14, Latimer 6 for 18. So we held them enough. We held them off enough, and we were able to get a key stop at the end. And ultimately that's what you got to do at this point in the season.
Well, between Malik Jones and Rashawn Latimer, 1 for 12 from three-point range.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, defending out there at the arc is important against a team like this.
No doubt, it's something we talked about a lot. And then over the course of the season, we've done some good things with that. And we're not the biggest team, so we're gonna have to get out and guard people a little bit and try to keep them in front of us, but also take them out of a rhythm and not let them get going, because these guys can score in bunches if you let them get going. And we did at the end of the first half there. We let them get going from 3, and then we kind of refocused a little bit and did a better job in the second half of that. They were 2 for 10 in the second half, so much better job.
What was the message coming in here? I mean, you just won a huge game, then you lost a miserable game. And, like any team, and especially a team that has as many young parts as you do, finding that consistency can be elusive.
Yeah, that's why hopefully we could build on this for Saturday. But I think ultimately that's when you have, we don't have anyone on our team over 21, right now with AJ out. So you have a lot of peaks and valleys. And we were unfortunately kind of not ready to go on Saturday. And I think our guys kind of learned from it a little bit, and we dug in here, and we found a way. So hopefully we can build on this and tighten things up offensively, defensively. We played really, like you said last Wednesday, played really well. Not so good on Saturday. Started to get back to that level today a little bit. So now we got to continue to move forward and have a good performance on Saturday on Senior Day.
So I rewatched the game before I came here tonight. The game at EMU, and you start to think, and it's so easy to fall into, well, AJ did this and AJ did that. Now AJ's not here, and where do you find this? I mean, that's not really what you have to do. You just tell the guys that you've got, this is what you have to do. Nobody's replacing anything.
Exactly. It's just going to be different, and we do miss that offensively sometimes, but defensively we're grinding it out, and we're finding different ways to score. It's going to be different a lot of nights. And it's not always the prettiest thing in the world, but as long as we can kind of keep ourselves in there and give ourselves a chance, for a young group, we've won a lot of close games so far this year, and that's a good testament to our guys' toughness down the stretch.